This is how you make sourdough. Everybody thinks it's so hard. It's not that hard. You have to have patience, and you have to follow directions, and you have to make sure that you're putting in the right ingredients. I have a kitchen scale. That's how I measure all the ingredients. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm doubling my recipe. So I'm going to do 750 grams of kind of warm water. Filtered water is best. I already pre-measured everything. Then I'm going to take 200 grams of active starter. Here's my starter. I'm so proud of her. She's so bubbly. All right, here we go. Don't forget to push the tare button. I can't speak. Don't forget to hit the tare button on your scale. If you have a nice floaty starter, that is how you know that it's really good and active. All right, perfect. Clean up the edges. And I will probably also feed that again later because I want to be able to bake quite a bit this week. Mix this up. You do want to take it off your scale to mix. And just kind of stir it a little bit till it seems like it's pretty incorporated. All right, then you're going to take 22 grams of salt. I use pink Himalayan salt, but you can use any salt you'd like. Mix that in. Then we are taking 1,100 grams of flour. I use this King Arthur's flour. All right, then you're going to take your dough stirrer and just kind of mix it up until it's into a shaggy dough. And then is where your patience are going to have to come in. So we want this to ferment. But first, we need to do our series of stretch and folds. So after you get it to being a shaggy dough, you're gonna set a timer for about 45 minutes. You're gonna cover this and set it on your counter. You set a timer for about 45 minutes. Then you'll do your first set of stretch and folds. We're gonna do 4 sets of stretch and folds, and that is going to strengthen our dough. All right, so this is what a shaggy dough looks like. It's shaggy looking, see? All right, so that's good. All of the flour is incorporated, which is important. Okay, so Alexa, set a timer for 40 minutes.
Good afternoon, Melissa. 40 minutes, starting now.
All the flour is incorporated and it's a shaggy dough. We're gonna cover it, leave it on the counter for about 30 to 40 minutes, and I'll be back to show you how you do your first set of stretch and folds. First set of stretch and folds, you're gonna wanna wet your hands so that the dough isn't so sticky. And you're literally just gonna pick up the dough and fold it over. Alexa, turn the timer off. This first stretch and fold is kind of weird. The dough still feels really weird, but you're gonna be surprised how it changes very quickly. Second stretch and folds. I wet my hands. Here's where you're really gonna start to see the difference in the dough. It's really starting to get nice and smooth. You don't want to overdo it either, so just go around the bowl and take from the edges, put into the center, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to overthink it. Third set of stretch and folds. Okay, I'm in the middle of my workout, but when sourdough calls, you must answer the call. Okay, so here we go. Last set of stretch and folds. After this set, ooh, it's looking nice. The dough is so smooth. All right, after this set of stretch and folds, I'm going to cover it up again, and this will sit on my counter for the rest of the evening. I'll put it in the fridge right before I go to bed, unless it starts proofing super quickly and rising too quickly, then I'll put it in earlier than that. But usually I leave it out for a couple hours. So I will show you that, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning. It is the next morning, and we are going to shape our dough and put it back in the fridge, and that way I can bake it later this evening. There's nothing like fresh, warm bread with dinner. Ooh. She's a big girl. All right. I'm gonna cut it in half because remember I did double the recipe. And so now I'm gonna laminate. This means like pulling the dough flat, stretching it out, and this is how we're going to shape it. Might have put too much flour down. Okay, so once you have your dough laminated, you're gonna fold it over once, fold it over twice, then you're gonna roll it up. So you have a nice roll. Then you're gonna start your pushing to create the tension in the top of the bread. And then you have a nice little ball. I'm gonna flour my basket. Put it in upside down, cover it up, and then this will be ready to bake in a couple hours. This is the final ferment. My loaves have just completed the final ferment, so now we're gonna bake. What we're gonna do is we're going to do the final shaping. I have some parchment paper here. I'm gonna do a loaf in this pan with this as the cover. And then I'm gonna do a more fancier round loaf in the Dutch oven. Just gonna take a little bit of flour, put it on that parchment paper, and then let's see what our loaf looks like. There it is. So you're just gonna dump it. And this is actually an everything loaf, that's why you see these seeds. And I'm gonna take my little lame thing and give it a nice cut down the middle. And then this is where you can do all your fancy little lines, all kinds of designs you can look up for spring. Here's our other loaf. I just like to pinch it a little bit. We'll do the same thing here. She looks nice. A little bit more flour, and this is where you'll do your designs. I'm gonna do a spider web. I did a really cool spider web one yesterday. All right, so this is gonna go in the oven. You're gonna bake this on 450 for 30 minutes with the covers on. After 30 minutes, you take the covers off and bake for another 15 minutes. Let the bread cool for about an hour and then enjoy that shit.